Hi, today we are going to see next lead code problem, which is minimum number of arrows to burst balloons. How many minimum number of arrows we need to burst all the balloons? So see this. The question saying is there are some spherical balloons, means some balloons are there and tipped on a flat wall, means on the wall the balloons have been pasted. The balloons are on the have been pasted on the wall, that has been called tipped on the wall. And the balloon is representing xy plane. It is in the x and y plane, that is 2D plane. The balloons are represented as a 2D plane, and we are measuring the balloon in in which direction? From in the x direction, or you can say on the x axis. So we are given 2 points, x a start a start point and end point on the x-axis. On the x-axis, we are given a start and end point of the balloon in the form of arrays. This here, a start point, end point, a start point, end point, like this. Now the question is saying that how many arrows, minimum, how many arrows, that is how many minimum number of arrows we need टू बर्स्ट ऑल द बैलून्स, मिनिमम कितने एरो चाहिए सारे बैलून को फोड़ने के लिए, बर्स्ट करने के लिए. So and these are the conditions, and there is no there is nothing given about y-axis. They are saying arrows can be shot up directly vertically, means we can burst the arrow directly vertically. We will send an arrow and the arrow will go and burst the balloon from different points along the x-axis. We will throw or we will send the arrow along the x-axis. All balloons are in the x plane, in the on the x-axis, and we will throw the arrow in the x direction itself. So many balloons can be burst at a time. So we have to find how many minimum number of balloons can get burst. Means how many minimum number of arrows required to burst all the balloons. How many minimum number of arrows required to burst all the balloons? So let's see this array. Let's first consider this example that has been given, then the question will be clear completely. So now let's see. Wait, let me remove whatever these signs that I've created. Now again I am starting here. So this is the array that has been given to us. So what can we do is, let's first sort this array. First what we need to do is, let's sort this array, because we are given x, means on the x-axis start point, end point. This is the start point, this is the end point, this is the start point, this is the end point. So you can say here how many balloons are there. One, two, three, four. There are total four balloons and their start and end points are given. So what I am going to do is, let's first sort this array on the basis of what? Endpoint. On the basis of endpoint, this, this, this. On the basis of endpoint, I am going to sort this array in increasing order. So here, what are those what is the first minimum? And go to the endpoints and find the minimum one. End are 16, 8, 6, and 12. Minimum is 6. This interval, so right here 1 comma 6. Next interval, next minimum is 2 comma 8, because I am sorting it on the basis of end points of each interval. एंड पॉइंट ऑफ ईच इंटरवल आई एम सॉर्टिंग दिस एरे. हम क्या कर रहे हैं कि एंड पॉइंट पे जो भी एंड वैल्यू दिया हुआ है और एंड पॉइंट दिया हुआ है एक्स एक्सिस के, उसके बेसिस पे हम इसको सॉर्ट कर रहे हैं. सो 2 8, देन नेक्स्ट मिनिमम इज 7 12, 7 एंड 12. Now come to next 10 and 16. 10 and 16. Here I have sorted the array on the basis of endpoints. Now this is interval 0, this is interval 1, this is I am indexing interval 0, interval 1, interval 2 and interval 3. Now what can I do here is go to each input. What is the output? Means the question needs output in which format or what? Minimum number of arrows required to burst all the balloons. सारे बैलून को फोड़ने के लिए कि मिनिमम कितना एरो चाहिए? तो दो let's see how. So I am creating one variable answer a n s and initializing with 0, and I am creating another variable that is end. End is what? Initially end is what? End is minus infinity. I am taking end as what? Minus infinity. Now go to first interval. In go to first interval and go to the index 0. In first interval, here there are two elements, first element and second element, 1 and 6. First element is, that is I am saying at 0 index. So check, is 1 less than end minus infinity? Yes, 1 is less than end. So what I will do is I will increment this value by 1 answer, because I need one arrow. And what I will do is I will रिप्लेस दिस एंड वैल्यू बाई 6. हम क्या करेंगे, आंसर को एक इंक्रीमेंट कर देंगे बाई 1 से, बिकॉज आई नीड वन एरो, एक एरो चाहिए टू बर्स्ट द बैलून. और एंड को हम क्या करेंगे, आई हैव इंक्रीमेंटेड इट, आई हैव एंड आई हैव replaced by the end of this interval. End is 6, so 6. Now go to next interval. Now you, it will be clear. I am at this index, index 1. Now 2, is 2 less than end? I have to compare the start value with the end. Is 2 less than end? Since 2 is less than 6, it means the same arrow can burst this balloon also. दो 2 जो है 6 से कम है, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि सेम एरो कैन बर्स्ट दिस, सेम एरो से हम इस बैलून को भी बर्स्ट कर सकते हैं, फोड़ सकते हैं. सो वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू अपडेट द आंसर. सो व्हाट आई विल डू इज, so this is done with the in this interval I have incremented the value. Nothing we have to do here. Come to this interval. Now 7. Is 7 less than 6? No. No. It means this balloon is not coming in the line of the previous balloons. So we are not going, so what we will do? We are going to increment the answer by 1. So now it becomes 2. And what is the end here? 12. So make it 12. Now come to this. Next, I am here. Here I have incremented the answer. Now come to this. Is it 10 less than 12? Yes. It means what? It means this, the balloon coming in this interval is lying in the previous one interval. Previous one interval means this interval here, that balloon is lying in this part. In this interval, it means the arrow that will burst this balloon will also burst this balloon. Yes. So no need to increment the answer and do nothing. So now what will be my answer? And another balloon is here. So what we will do is, if I send the arrow in this direction, it will burst this balloon and this balloon both or not. Yes. Similarly, another interval was this and another interval was this. If I send the balloon in this direction, then it will burst both the balloons or not. Yes. And those intervals were what? You can see here 1 to 6 and 2 to 8. This interval, let's assume 1 to 6. This balloon is in the interval 1 to 6 and this balloon is in the interval 2 to 8. So one arrow required to burst both the balloon, and one, now let's assume this interval, this balloon is in the interval 7 to 12 and another balloon is in the interval 10 to 16, this. So one more arrow is required to burst both the balloons. So how many arrows required? Two arrows. Next, similarly, another example you can see. Main thing is concept should be clear on. Now let's see the answer. Now you can see answer means here I am going to show you the code. Now see here. What I have done is here this statement with this statement what I am doing is I am sorting the array. So here sort the array. Sort the given intr given intervals. Here what I have done is I have sort the given intervals. Then here what I am doing is I have taken a variable answer to show the result that will store minimum number of balloons required to minimum number of arrows required to burst all the balloons. And here end equal to here I it will store what end value of each interval, not each interval, the interval that when a new interval will come, we can say its end value. Now so here for interval, this interval is a variable in points. For interval in points, we will go to each interval, and then if interval of 0 is greater than end interval of 0, what I have said, I have already said here in the example, interval of 0. This is let's assume this is first interval. Interval of 0 means what? 10. If it is less than end value, initially end is infinite, then answer equal to answer plus 1 and end equal to interval of 1. 1 means this value, end value. I am in this interval, so this is interval of 0 and this is interval of 1. Similarly, for this interval, this is interval of 0 and this is interval of 1. So you can do like this. Okay, so that is the answer. You can see. Bye.